When is a river sometimes a river and sometimes not a river? When it's a winterbourne. Winterbournes are a particular type of chalk stream whose flow varies with the seasons. Their waters come and go, in sometimes quite mysterious ways. Some winterbournes are predictable. They do what it says on the tin: wet in winter, dry in summer. Others are much more eccentric. While they will flow more in winter, particularly if we have a wet autumn, where and when their waters appear is, well, let's just say unreliable. This is the River Nailbourne. It flows through the Elim Valley in East Kent. Sometimes. As winterbournes go, it definitely veers towards the idiosyncratic. Its flow is sporadic, intermittent, patchy. It can be running strongly through one village, and just half a mile down the road, the riverbed is completely dry. If we have drought, it can go missing completely, for years at a time. I grew up very close to this river. I played poo sticks here. But what I've never done is travel along the whole course of the river in the winter and witness its eccentricities firsthand. So in December 2023, that's what I decided to do. I started here, just over a mile from Lyminge, where the Nailbourne has its source. Between Lyminge and Elim, the river is probably at its most consistent, so I was sure of finding it flowing well. And here at Elim, still plenty of water, if rather on the silty side. Chalk streams should run clear, and the presence of silt is one of the many threats to these rare habitats from human activity. The other thing to notice is how the river has been artificially straightened. This is very far from the shape a natural watercourse should be. It's beyond Elim that the Nailbourne's flow can get much less predictable. My next stop was here, near Wingmore, between Elim and Barham. If anything, the river was flowing even more strongly than in Elim. Not surprising really when we had had so much wet weather. Chalk streams are fed by underground water stored in an aquifer. The upper limit of the aquifer is known as the water table, and as it gradually rises with increased rainfall, the seasonally dry sections of winterbourne start to flow. But how far down the valley would I find water? Here in Barham, I found the Nailbourne still flowing very strongly. I was beginning to think that because we'd had so much rain, I wasn't going to see any of that intermittent flow I'd wanted to witness. This is the ford at Out Umstead Lane between Barham and Kingston. Still no sign of the flow reducing. Surely it was so strong, the river would be flowing all the way along its course. It was beginning to look like I'd had a wasted trip. But then, just 500 yards from Out Umstead Lane, at the Black Robin pub, a dry riverbed. No hint of water. How could that happen in such a short distance? Where had all that water gone to? The Nailbourne had lived up to its mysterious, eccentric reputation. The question was, would the river now be dry all the way to its endpoint at Littlebourne? The scenic parkland at Bourne Park, Bishopsbourne, and a bridge over a dry river channel. I heard a little boy ask his dad where the river had gone. His dad replied, "It hasn't got here yet." The next village on the trail is another whose name is defined by the presence of the river, Bridge. And here is the view from the bridge. And there is the Nailbourne, back again, like nothing had happened. A river that disappears and reappears with no apparent pattern or logic. What would it do next? My final stop was the village of Beaksbourne. Here I found the river in an in-between state. There was deep water in some places, but not enough to flow, and in others, just puddles. And here, less than a mile from the point where the Nailbourne ends and joins the Silver Dyke to become the Little Stour, a completely dry riverbed. So what's behind this mysterious behaviour? How can a fast-flowing river become dry just a few hundred yards away, then come back again? There are two reasons. The first is that the stream beds of chalk streams are often very leaky. Water can just seep away underground, back into the porous chalk from whence it came. The second reason is the movement of water in the aquifer. Small variations in local geology can mean that the water table will meet the surface in one place, causing the stream to flow there, but not in another. Water moves upwards as well as down in the aquifer due to pressure and capillary action, but this is complex, so springs flow up through that leaky stream bed in what seems to be a chaotic fashion. We may understand something of what drives the eccentricity of winterbournes like the Nailbourne, but predicting what they will do in any given year is always going to be hit and miss. And any pattern they may ever have had is almost certainly being disrupted by the more extreme weather that climate change is bringing. The ways of the Nailbourne are unlikely to become any less mysterious anytime soon.